Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at why there's been such a big bleed in altcoins over the weekend, and then discussing where we think the Bitcoin market will go from here. So what you're looking at right now is the Bitcoin price chart. This has been the range for months on end, as we've previously discussed. Obviously you can see the previous bullish posture that's come up into this zone, and we've broken out from this triangle. Obviously we come back down, retested the zone, bounce back up, which is exactly what you want to see. This blue line is the previous cycle high, which is also something to note, which we seem to be holding above. So although there's been, somewhat of a significant dip in nearly 5% in Bitcoin, it doesn't really matter because Bitcoin has these big price increases and big drops here and there, and it just is what it is. It's due to the volatile nature of the crypto market. So, I'm not too fussed on that. And as you can see, we're still holding above the previous all-time high. I think, as in like previous cycle high, not so much the actual all-time high, because that's here. From this point, we might come down, see a bounce off of some of these moving averages. Could probably see a push off the 100 here, but as long as we're kind of staying above the moving averages, staying above that previous cycle high and kind of staying within this zone, that's really good. Obviously we can see we've had the rejection off the zone, which is not ideal, but I think where we're not exactly going lower than the previous cycle high, that's really positive. So from this point on, I think we are obviously still in bullish posture, and I wouldn't get too worried about it. As you can see, we're kind of chopping and changing in the zone here. On the MACD, we don't really know where we want to be at the minute, but that's absolutely fine. In the RSI, again, kind of chopping and changing above the moving average. Still, I think a push up to the higher end of the zone or a bounce off to 50% up into bullish posture makes most sense from this current standpoint. If we kind of look across other parts of the market, so the S&P at the minute, Thursday you had that big correction candle. Obviously, we have come down, not actually had a big candle body down, which is obviously really good. Normally when you see a rejection candle like this and then the next candle forms lower than this one, that tends to be really negative. Obviously we haven't seen that, so there is hope for that. We're still going to have a push up higher. To me, this looks like this long-term standing trend that we've got here. Looks like we're going to hold above that, and then we could see a push higher, or maybe that's kind of the breakout, and then you kind of reject in a fake out fashion and then come down. So we'll just have to play it out on the S&P and kind of see where we are. But obviously on the long-term trend, you're still sitting within the trend, and this could be the breakout or this could be the fake out and then the push down. So we just need to wait over time and see what happens with that. But generally, if we could have a push up a little bit higher and then get the rejection, that would obviously be more ideal. DXY, so this has been quite interesting. So the previous 2 trading days, we've managed to go up a total of 1.37%, which on the dollar is actually quite a lot. I thought we were going to kind of trade in this zone, not create a higher high, and then come down further. But what we seem to have done is come up here and hold and create a higher high after previously creating a lower low. I guess you could come here, you see the double bottom pattern, and then the bullish posture upwards. What I'd probably see on this is, and what we need to see is either a rejection. We want to see either a rejection in this zone here, or we want to see a rejection along this trend line here. So if we can see rejection along that trend line, which has historically been multiple points, that would be ideal, and that's kind of what we want to see. So yeah, as long as we don't kind of break up, create a new high above this zone, then obviously risk on assets like Bitcoin and the crypto market will still be in a bullish posture. So that's what we want to keep an eye on, and that's what we want to look out for. One interesting thing is the MACD though is crossing over into more of bullish posture. So, but that could come up here and then reject. So it just depends on how that kind of plays out. It doesn't necessarily need to kind of come all the way up and then all the way down. It could just come up and trickle up and then come down. So it depends where exactly the market is long term. So we just keep an eye on that for now. Right, so total 2 at the minute, it's still pretty much the same. We seem to be holding above the 100 moving average, which is exactly what we want to see. We want to see us holding these averages. One thing that wouldn't be so bad, as even if we came down to this 200 moving average, it's still kind of within this trading zone. If you kind of, I guess if you draw a box over this zone completely, it's still sitting within this trading zone. So even if we come down, we're not exactly breaking too much of a lower low from this point. So if that line carries up to about here and then you're coming down to about there, not creating a lower low, which obviously would in turn still be bullish. Obviously on the long-term trend, we are sitting between the 0.50 and the 618, which is in the retracement zone. Obviously this is a big zone of contention, because generally when something comes up and retraces back into the 618 and 0.5, you either tend to see a rejection from that zone and a push down lower, or you tend to see obviously a breakout much higher. So it kind of depends on what ends up happening. So at the minute, this is something else we keep an eye on. Obviously, as soon as Bitcoin breaks out, the altcoin market breaks out, and what we'll probably see is a huge kind of dominance from Bitcoin in the market. And when you see that dominance fall, and that'd be when you see the rotation into total 2 and altcoins, and that would be when you see your altcoins start to rise up, which is historically what's happened in every other cycle. Ethereum, again, not too much is happening. At the minute, kind of this zone here, which is it seems to be a contention of multiple points and touching. We are holding above that zone, so we have what is previous resistance here, as you can see, has now become a place of support instead of resistance, so that generally is good as well. So we don't really want to see a breakdown further down here, because we want to see the support hold along this trend, and then hopefully we'll see a push up. So from an overall perspective, obviously Bitcoin is still holding above previous local highs. We're still trading in a pretty good zone. We're still trading in the trading zone. We haven't broken below the triangle yet, which is also good. So at the minute, it's just going to be keep an eye on things and see how things play out. But obviously, generally, we're still in a bull cycle. We're still in bullish posture. We haven't created a lower low. It's not really come all the way down here and created another low low. So at the minute, what we're doing is we are coming up, creating consolidation, and then for a push higher, which generally is what happens. You either see a push up, consolidation, and then a dip, or you see push up, consolidation, and a bullish posture further from there, which you obviously would tend to see more often than not is more bullish after a period of consolidation, especially if you're coming from coming up into the zone and then pushing up, or if you come down and then into the zone and then down. Generally the direction of the trend continues. So from a news perspective, we haven't really seen too much happening. Obviously just talking about a lot of crypto inflows. Talking about a lot of the Bitcoin that's been wiped out in the dip. Yeah, the Roaring Kitty thing in the GME has been very interesting, because obviously you've seen a lot of people aping into meme coins once again, especially just before around this sort of time frame last week or the week before. We also saw a lot of crypto meme coins also bounce, and what you'd have probably seen historically last cycle is as soon as the whole GME, GameStop and all that sort of stuff happened 4 years ago, you also saw meme coins go. So at the minute, we're in that meme coin phase where everyone's just kind of aping into all the crap in the market, basically, and trying to make as much money as they can do, or getting wrecked. And what you probably see is a lot of people now from this point, and what tends to happen is once you get through this stage, it then rotates into other alternative coins, and you tend to get the rest of the bull run in Bitcoin, and then you get it transferring into the altcoins. So this happening, if you're based on 2021, is good, because that's exactly what happened before the rest of the bull run ensued, and we made obviously a bunch of money. So this is kind of weirdly a good indication that things are going the right way. As weird as it sounds, it's only if you're based on 2021, obviously, we're only looking at that data, we're not looking historically, because it didn't happen. But, if you compare it to that, then obviously it's a reason for to be bullish. US elections, obviously there's so much talk about them weaponizing crypto to kind of help either party get elected in power, because there's a lot of people who are riding their vote on the crypto market. obviously, Donald Trump's already said he is very wants to bring crypto into the light and wants to regulate it, and they want to be a leader in the market. So obviously, that's going to be really bullish in that sense if the Republicans win. Generally, the Democrats win. I don't think it will be. I know they're starting to say, oh, we need to introduce this, that, and the other, but they're not going to. They're clearly not crypto friendly, which they've proven over the past 4 years in office. But yeah, ETF approval for Solana would be interesting and obviously would be very bullish for the market. I think it's either going to be Solana or XRP, to be honest. Solana probably just because of the usage and how popular it is, but also XRP because it will end up being the only coin with actual legal clarity in the courts. So it's going to be one or the other. I don't think anything else kind of stands anywhere near these two in a sense of like something getting an ETF approval. So keep an eye on that, but obviously generally bullish news around the market, which is good. Obviously another exploit, but you're going to see them all the time in crypto. It just is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of it for the news. But I think from an overall perspective, I think Bitcoin looks very strong. I wouldn't be too. I would not be too scared of what's going on right now with alt. Like, for example, I know hbar has bled heavily, especially with that. You've had a decrease of about 20%, which I get, could be terrifying to some. But again, even if you look at this, it's just perfectly come all the way down to the trend line. Perfectly. And that is your buying opportunity. If you come all the way down there, and even if you get back up into the zone here at the top of the zone, that's 50% nearly already. So you need to keep an eye on these alts and take advantage of the dips and DCA into all the assets that you obviously want to be in. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and watch any previous videos for any new information. Obviously, if you have any advice or any comments you make, please put them down in the description. Any advice is greatly appreciated. All right. Cheers, guys.